The Bondi Beach shooting in Sydney, Australia during a Jewish celebration was inspired by the Islamic State, also known as ISIS. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Bondi Beach shooting in Sydney, Australia that claimed 15 lives during a Jewish celebration. And of that 15, you had 2 rabbis, a 10-year-old child, and a Holocaust survivor. Now, before I begin, may they all rest in peace. Prayers out to their families. This was a tragedy. Unfortunately, and kind of predictably, this was a result of the Islamic State, or what we may know as ISIS. Not surprising, but that just kind of is what it is. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say all Muslims are bad and all Muslims are violent, because the video I showed from the very beginning was a Muslim guy, like I think he had a fruit stand. He intervened to try and lessen the tragedy. Okay, I think by that time, the gunshots had been going off. There was a lot going on. From what I was able to read, there were cops right there, and they didn't intervene. They kind of just were watching it go on. They were kind of frozen in place. I'm not sure if that's true or false, but it is Australia. So if it is true that the police did not intervene, I would not be surprised. Now, before I get into the clip about Islamic State and how the person who intervened is doing, let's take a look at an official out here in Australia talking about gun control. This is going to be Chris Minns. He is the premier of New South Wales. He's going to say, you know what we should do? We should just up our gun control efforts. What we've done in Australia is not quite enough. Let's do some more, and maybe that'll help things. Watch this.
Doesn't our gun registry laws need to change? What can you do now to ensure this doesn't happen again?
I mean, the short answer is yes. They need to change, and they can change. It does require legislation, and it means introducing a bill to Parliament to be really blunt, make it more difficult to get these horrifying weapons that have no practical use in our community.
Do you think
if you're not a farmer, if you're not involved in agriculture, why do you need these massive weapons that put the public in danger and make life dangerous and difficult for New South Wales Police? So I understand, of course I understand the genuine desire to have information about how the law will change. We're less than 24 hours into this horrifying crime. I want to make sure that legislation and reform that we bring to Parliament makes a big difference, but that's exactly my intention, and my colleagues feel exactly the same way.
Now, there's a lot here. First of all, what I was able to see from the video of the shooter up close, he appeared to have a single action rifle, meaning after each shot, he's got to reload. So it's not a semi-automatic. It was not, of course, a fully automatic. You're talking about a manual rifle. After each shot, you got to reload. So what kind of guns are you suggesting are too much for the general public to have? I don't really understand, because in the West, the argument is semi-automatics, which is pretty much all guns. But then this was not even a semi-automatic. So I don't really understand. It's weird. Let's keep going here. Let's get into the news clip. Of course, I will link to everything in the box if you want to see it and hear it without my commentary. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit the link in the bio. Go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Australia's Bondi Beach targeting Jews celebrating the first night of Hanukkah. New details are emerging about the suspects and the Muslim man who tackled one of the alleged gunmen.
This morning, Australians holding vigils for the 15 people killed in that anti-Semitic attack on Sydney's Bondi Beach.
It's a sad day for our Jewish community.
New video from this dashboard camera shows a man wrestling with one of the alleged gunmen moments before the attack unfolded. The man seen wrestling the gun away from the suspect as a woman looks on.
Let's pause. Now, those who intervened, and you guys are very brave, and I think you guys should get all the support in the world. You're fantastic. However, I think that the intervention could have been a little bit more effective, maybe even a little bit more quick, if the general citizenry were allowed to have guns more than what they are. Now, contrary to popular belief, it's not illegal to own guns in Australia. As a matter of fact, the father and son who did this, the Muslim guys, the Islamic ISIS guys, they had registered firearms. So it's not illegal, but it is from what I'm able to read, discouraged. If it was more encouraged, then these kind of incidents, in my opinion, would be over a lot sooner.
Video ends moments later. Officials say the two people in that video were killed. Meanwhile, the man seen here, later tackling one of the alleged gunmen, is recovering in the hospital.
So what happened, if they may or may not say it, what happened once he was able to get up on them and take the gun away, one of the other shooters from a different area shot him from his vantage point. And that's why he's in the hospital right now, because he got shot, I believe, 2 times by somebody else.
Ahmed Al-Ahmed sneaking up on the suspect as he fires his gun. Ahmed tackling the man, wrestling away the weapon and turning it on him. The fruit shop owner and father of 2 was shot in the shoulder. His brother spoke to ABC News.
I know my brother, he's a brave one, He's a good man. He have a good heart,
Now, Jewish leaders are calling for prayers of recovery for the 42-year-old Syrian-born Muslim.
May he recover speedy and fully.
Now, I like how they're trying to say Muslim, Muslim, Muslim when you're talking about the guy who intervened. Okay, I like how they're doing that. But are they going to get to the meat and potatoes, which is that this attack was Muslims inspired by the Islamic State, a.k.a. ISIS? Are we going to get to that or not? Let's watch.
Sources have now identified the 2 alleged gunmen as 50-year-old Sajid Akram and his 24-year-old son, Naveed. Police shot both suspects, ending the attack. Sajid was killed. His son is in a coma. Sources say the 2 had pledged allegiance to ISIS. Officials say 2 ISIS flags, weapons, and IEDs were recovered nearby. Sources say the pair recently traveled to the Philippines for military-style training. The son was previously investigated for possible ties to a Sydney-based ISIS-linked group.
So they knew him. The ASIO, that's the Australian Security Intelligence Operation. If I said that specific acronym wrong, you'll let me know. But basically, the Australian Security Forces, the Australian intelligence agencies, knew about him before this whole thing happened.
Officials say the father and son were not part of a wider cell. Australian lawmakers are now working to strengthen their already restrictive gun laws.
We're much better than America, but at the same time, we don't need guns here.
Critics say the country's prime minister didn't do enough to confront the recent surge in attacks on the Jewish community. Israel's prime minister blaming the attack on Australia's support for a Palestinian state, claiming you did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action.
I mean, I'm not going to blame their support for Palestine or Israel or nothing like that for this. The reality is very simple as I close. Shout out to the Muslims if you're watching. Shout out to the Islamic people. I know you got 1.2, 1.3 or whatever billion of you guys on planet Earth. But the truth is, wherever you have Islam, you're going to have fighting, especially when they're in big numbers. Go to somewhere like, I don't know, Myanmar. On the border of Myanmar and I believe Bangladesh, what do you have? The Rohingya situation. Who are the Rohingya? Why are they people who are suffering? It's because they're Muslim, and what they do often is commit terror attacks, and the neighboring peoples who are not Muslim are fighting back against them. That's why there is an issue with the Rohingya. Go to Nigeria, and you have all these Christians being slaughtered once you get toward the northern part of the country. Why? Because in the north, you got Muslims. In the south, you got Christians. And the line of demarcation, wherever they meet, wherever they converge, will be violence from the Muslims to the Christians. That happens all over the world. Middle East, of course, you already know what it is. We already know what kind of mess that is. So this is not anything new. This has been going on since the beginning of time, or the beginning of these religions at least. So you can't say, oh, well, the reason why this happened is because you support Palestine, you support Israel. No. It's because within Islam, inherently, there will be fighting, and you got to deal with it. Now, again, I'm not saying all are going to do this. I'm saying the extremists will do this. And if you're going to have them in your country, you got to be ready for it. And I don't think disarming the public is the right way to go about it. Because even if guns are illegal in Australia and nobody can own them, well, they had IEDs. Where'd you get the IED from? Is there an IED store in Sydney, Australia? Is there an IED shop right off of Bondi Beach to get that? I don't think IEDs are illegal. So if the public is disarmed, yet the Islamic extremists have bombs and all kind of other stuff, what are you going to do to defend yourself? Nothing. Just try to use your bare hands and get shot or die in the process of trying to prevent a mass shooting or a mass bombing or something of that nature. Now, as I close, I want to say this again. Shout out to the fruit stand guy who was able to intervene and the others who tried to intervene and lost their lives. May they rest in peace. Prayers out to the family. And again, to the 15 who were killed during this attack. May they rest in peace. Prayers out to the family. And these guys, well, the one guy, he did, so that's good, meaning the shooter. But the other shooter, give him the ultimate. Don't try to be sympathetic. Don't try to do anything other than that. Give him the ultimate penalty that there is in Australia. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about this terror attack on Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia? Did this happen because of Australia's support for Palestine? Or is it because ISIS did this and ISIS commits terror attacks all over the world? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This is clearly just another terror attack from the Islamic extremists. This is nothing new. And the reaction shouldn't be, let's disarm the law-abiding citizens. No. Let's prepare the law-abiding citizens, because these kind of things are going to happen when you have these kind of individuals in your country. And that is the bottom line. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.